Welcome to Grit and Gravitas with Ann and Annie, bringing you savvy, spirited stories of success. We're excited to deliver 30 minutes of inspiration, impact, and goodness. We'll be bringing you guests and friends from around the country who have very special work and personal journeys. I'm Deeter Gallaher, your co-host with Annie Carnathan, and this is Grit and Gravitas. Let's go! What a day, Annie Carnathan. I'm feeling rejuvenated. It's only the beginning of the week. We have, I need sunglasses. For people watching on YouTube, we have the hottest guest.
They're all great.
I know. I need a wardrobe change. Anyway, Patty Sibbach, welcome to the Grit and Gravitas podcast studio. Patty is co-owner of Precision Training Concepts.
That's correct.
And you will never guess that it is a health and fitness company. Would you ever guess that?
No.
It could have been a fashion company, which I'm all about that too. Anyway.
It's all working.
No, you'll be on our Instagram, so you know that. We're like this, she's got it all going on. And the shoes. We're so excited to have you here.
Thank you, ladies. Your compliments are so much, too much.
No such thing. We got
They're deserved.
That's right. That's right.
We just love having you here. Look at this smile. We're super excited. So let's start at the very beginning because I think I knew you when you were in pharmaceuticals.
That's
sales.
Right.
The pharmaceutical industry. But give us a little. Oh, wait. So I have to stop. We're all SHIP grads. Shippensburg University.
Little Harvard.
Yeah. Right. Well, that's a good. And 3 communications. We're all in communications.
I was PR and
I was PR.
Radio. Television.
Okay, well,
look at us now.
You can see where we all landed. So this is gonna be a good day. Patty, give us a little backstory pre PTC and health and fitness. Where you went from SHIP, and I know you played basketball.
Right. So I attended Shippensburg on a basketball scholarship.
That's
I knew
so
that
cool.
Thank you. I knew I wanted an education, and I grew up on a farm.
I have to laugh that we have the Gallaher landscape.
They're doing a fabulous job out there, by the way.
Men's gotta work, right? Men gotta work.
I'm trying to be serious here. I was like, we got the blowers, we got the...
That's it. I'm hiring them.
Basketball scholarship.
Yeah.
So I played basketball for 4 years there, captain for 2, and I just texted the current basketball coach, who was a freshman when I was a senior, to make sure that I still had the single game rebounding record, which I do 35 years later.
Are you kidding? That's so
Cool.
Good for you.
But I loved it. You know, I always said that was the best of times, it was the worst of times. And they owned you when you're a student athlete, but it does help you stay on track, getting your education, and you're there playing a sport for the university. From there, I actually came back to the Harrisburg area, where I had gotten married, had children, and coached. I loved coaching within the Central Dauphin School District, and I would coach anything that people would ask me to, from obviously basketball to soccer. I think I did ballet. I think I did, swimming. I'm a horrific swimmer, but
I love it.
But you don't always have to be the best in action if you know how to articulate something.
That's a business vitamin. We kind of
people.
We kind of think we do have to be a record breaker to volunteer, but especially with children in the younger age, if we can share our time, I think that's very well received.
Right. And fast forwarding to where I am today, I find that was something I felt I always had to do, was be the best in accounting and marketing and operations in order to have a successful business.
Right.
No, you don't. You need to surround yourself with those individuals
that's a business vitamin too.
She's loading us up.
I know.
It can't be a
and we're just like
coincidence.
3 minutes in. So you don't always have to be the best, because I think that can be self-limiting when we only have to be that.
Right.
But Patty says we have to surround ourselves with the best. So I'm kind of feeling good about the room here today. I've surrounded myself with you ladies, which I count as the best.
What? Right. Thank you. I might stay here forever.
Hashtag the best women.
So that's an immediate parallel to a team. to building a team.
Yeah.
Right.
Right?
Right.
And a second baseman doesn't do what a center fielder does.
Exactly.
Doesn't do what a catcher or a pitcher does. Doesn't do what a coach does.
Right.
Right.
A
And
point
so-
guard doesn't
Yep.
do what a center does or a power forward, yet you need all of them in order to have a successful outcome.
Right.
100%.
So,
And you win or you lose, which I love about life. Right? No commission on a sale you almost make.
right.
You can't go half the way.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so you go on the scholarship.
So I go on the scholarship. I play for 4 years, come back, as I said, raised my family, was very active in the community. And then I eventually went into pharmaceuticals from health insurance. I called on all the doctors for their health
good.
insurance.
Okay.
It was a nice, easy progression into pharmaceuticals. Launched Gardasil, women's cancer vaccine.
Ooh.
And probably most recently, I was known for launching Ozempic,
Oh my.
which is the GLP for type 2 diabetes
Yeah.
for A1C reduction.
That was before the time that we're living in now,
That's
The weight
correct.
loss,
That's
yeah.
correct.
where it's
Right.
really taken a new use.
That's correct.
Yeah.
When I launched it into the central Pennsylvania community, I was really educating the physicians on the molecule, how it operates, what it does, what it doesn't do. And then I'm looking at it now thinking, oh my gosh, I spent years trying to educate and
Yeah.
and here it is being used how it is now. But that was then, and this is now. And, I left that all behind.
Was that in COVID, Patty? When did you leave pharmaceuticals?
I left pharma during COVID because I was successful in sales because I was never really on my agenda. I always left it up to, especially walking into a medical
Yeah.
practice, you have to be on their agenda. You
Right.
have to be very aware. You have to know when's a good time to
Yeah.
talk. And I was done. I was burnout. It's hard to leave when you're making a good salary,
Yeah,
right? And
right,
a lot of
right.
benefits and company car
Yeah.
and bonus and 401k and all of that. But I did. I followed my passion.
But
How-
probably was your own well-being affected by that kind of a schedule that you were in.
That, and I was tired of looking at the clock and living for the weekend, like
Yeah.
waiting for the weekend to come.
Right.
And I thought, boy, life is way too short to just keep living this way. And I felt like I wasn't setting a good example for my children either. And then I just made that hard pivot, knowing that I had my fitness on the back burner,
Right,
not off
right,
the stove. It was
right.
on the back burner, and the timing played where I could move that to the front burner and make that my business moving forward.
Good for you. Good for you.
I think too, Patty, that a lot and oh my, but I think sometimes, not all the time, that it becomes an excuse to be stuck and be miserable. It's the salary. It's the car. How in the world would you make almost any lateral position, especially to a different industry where you didn't have to build what you built in the industry you're in?
Right.
Right.
They
No one owes you that. It's like, oh, well, this is what I used to make. Well, guess what? That doesn't have that same skill set value to me.
Right.
Doesn't mean that you can't. And where a common in that is when I left, Clear Channel iHeart, I left for a third of what I was earning because I wanted to bet on myself.
Right.
And there's inherent enormous risk in that, right? And there wasn't a single person that didn't look at me like, have we lost our mind?
Right.
My financial planner said, look, okay, well, this is your prime earning years and this is how much you owe me a year to stay caught up.
Right.
Right. I mean, and so that's butterflies, but you move toward your passion.
Yeah.
I did, but it was very calculated, and you don't just jump off of that cliff.
Right,
And I would
right.
say that to individuals today. Don't just say, you know what, I'm breaking out of these golden handcuffs and I'm just going to run.
Right.
Because that's not smart either. You have to do your homework ahead of time if you're going to be making that pivot, if you're going to be making that adjustment, and not just go for it. Like you, Annie, I'm sure you knew what you were getting into prior to saying, okay, I'm out of here.
Not as much as I thought I did. But what
Really?
I said was I wanted to go to something
Yeah.
and not away from something.
Yes.
Good
right?
business
Yeah.
regimen.
So I didn't
Yep.
get promoted twice.
Right.
So first time, shame on you. Second time, shame on me. Right?
Right.
I was never getting promoted. So there's no way with half of my career left, someone was going to tell me that that's it. That's
Right.
where you're going to be.
Right.
Right. And so I think there's so many variables to that, Patty. But the overwhelming thing to me too is I know this is not a dress rehearsal. It's a short porch. We're on this earth for just a blink of an eye, and I had to go for it.
Right.
Okay, that's another business vitamin. This is not a dress rehearsal.
I like that.
So good, Patty, that you set some kind of a strategy, whether it was formalized, codified, or just in your head of transitioning from pharmaceuticals to health and fitness. So had Brian, your husband, as the co-founder, had he already started PTC?
He already started,
Okay.
and he was much more, and it was a one-man show. I mean, we didn't buy a franchise.
Right.
We didn't buy into another business that was already up and running. We started that from ground zero, and it was just him doing the training, and it was me doing any marketing because I was the local yokel from the area that people
Right.
knew me from coaching. People knew me from my
Right.
athletics that, hey, they're credible. Hey, they're professional. You know, they know what they're talking
You were
about.
kind of like the celebrity that is branding the company.
Right. But, you know, it just grew organically. And, you know, I always say it took us 55 years to be an overnight success.
Touche, my friend. Touche.
Well, now, though, you've really, I think post-COVID, obviously, I'm sure you had a lot of setbacks with how do you have people come in and work out? What do you do? Do you go online? You use Zoom?
Right.
But you have grown to, what, three centers now?
So we have 2 locations for our personal training on the West Shore in Mechanicsburg that we're actually moving to from the Enola location, and we have a Harrisburg location. We also have a membership-based facility once we moved up into an area that we found was very underserved.
Right.
We're like, they need fitness.
Yes.
Right.
No, I love
That's
that.
Perry County,
yeah,
right?
That's Perry.
Right.
And I'll tell you what, they've just embraced us, and we're
That's
so grateful and so
awesome.
thankful. And then we're the personal training partner for Capital Blue Cross.
No, I love that too.
And so we're able to really reach a segment of the community that has that insurance that can take advantage of knowing how to do exercise
Yeah.
correctly and safely. And then in addition, we expanded. We expanded those services from health and personal training and fitness to more of a wellness, where we're offering massage, we're offering facials, we're offering those types of services where we found that once people start feeling better about themselves, because remember, exercise isn't just
Yeah.
physical.
Totally.
It has that mental,
Yeah.
emotional availability to elevate you and make you just a better person. People wanted to look a little better. So, you know, again, it's about scaling in a way that makes sense, that is credible. That's a big word for me, is credibility and
Yeah.
professionalism. And surrounding yourself and bringing in those individuals that have those talents that can deliver a service that you want.
I think that the strategic alliance with Capital is extraordinary. You know, and I think there have been a couple key ones at Universal Media that really allowed us to scale much more quickly.
Right.
And so was that something that was a connection for you, a relationship for you? Talk a little bit about how that developed.
Sure. You know, are we believers in luck? You know, what's
That's
the
where opportunity and hard work
Boom.
meet, though.
boom.
There's no luck.
And that's the definition.
You make
right
your
there
own
where I
luck.
was going
Yep.
to go
Yep.
to.
Sorry.
No. That's
Yep.
you got it. You understand. And because we moved up into an area that was underserved, there's still individuals that lived up there that maybe want to be up there because, you know, they're done with the hustle and bustle of
Well, it's
the
beautiful.
Central
It's
PA.
serene.
Right.
It's the stillness
Affordable.
up there.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And then once we brought our services up there, there was an individual who actually works for Capital that lives up there and was very grateful for what we were able to do for her community and wanted to make that connection.
That's awesome.
So that's really how it began. And, you know, I can remember going to the bank, asking for a loan to say, hey, guess what? We'd like to open up a fitness center in Perry County in the middle of COVID. And they looked at us sideways, but we did our homework.
right.
Right. And most importantly, we saw there was a need, because in business, you need to fill that
Yeah,
need,
yeah.
recognize
You did
the
your
need.
marketing research. Yeah.
Right. And long story short, they gave us the loan, but they still looked at us sideways because in the fitness industry,
Yeah.
and you had said to this, Ann, that especially during COVID, it's an industry that has a high failure rate anyway.
Sure.
And then to have COVID come on and then to go to an area that hadn't really had any type of these services before, it's a calculated risk and gamble and
But people know you and love you. So I think being from the community, even going to college, you could say, in our region, going back, you're coaching, whether it was soccer,
Visible.
basketball,
Right. Yeah.
Highly visible.
people know your heart. So
Right,
when you say that you want to open up a fitness and wellness, I thought it was brilliant the minute I read it. I just thought this is, not only is it a great story and a need,
Right.
it
The
isn't-
fitness desert in Perry County,
yes,
for sure.
Right.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
And I'm sure this, just on the health side, on the preventive medicine side, if we
Right.
say food is medicine, so is fitness.
Right.
is
Oh,
medicine.
absolutely. And selling in that county. So that was one of my counties that going back into
Oh,
pharma.
good. Yes. All right.
I knew what those
You had the
A1C
data.
levels
Yes.
were up
Yes.
there. So
Yeah.
to hear success stories of members where they're, getting into better health and just movement was just wonderful.
Gosh, moving. I tell
Right.
everyone, just move.
Right. Right.
Right.
Because exercise can be a 4-letter word.
Right.
So we'll say just movement.
But I think
Touche.
knowing you, and seeing you around, and obviously we all share a love of the Salvation Army Harrisburg, and you have generously donated time and treasure there. And our service area is the same service area you have with health and fitness. We do Perry, Cumberland, Dolphin, just like you.
Right.
But I think that was a marketing advantage to you with your brand. There's many. We could choose a million different fitness opportunities, franchise or independent. But because you are so well known, you're a husband and wife duo. I think people say, okay, maybe exercise isn't so bad.
Right,
If
right,
Patty and Brian are
right.
there leading the charge.
Well, if you make
Thank
it
you.
fun.
Yeah.
Right.
And your passion is that. But tell me about the relationship with the bank that gave you the money. Is that a relationship?
Oh, yeah. Is it
Yeah.
a current relationship?
I mean,
Absolutely.
But that was pivotal because so many of our entrepreneurs went to multiple
yeah.
banks and it took that one to believe in them.
Right.
Yeah.
And sometimes it takes one to believe in you, period.
Right. We had an established relationship. So they had already seen what we had accomplished with the personal training studios. So their one hesitation was,
Right.
boy, you're going into an area now where your business model's a little different.
Right.
Not just that one-on-one private type of training or small group type of training. You're trying to get this generating of income on a monthly
Yeah.
basis. You're banking on the community to buy in.
Well, and you're moving behavior. You're hoping to move
You're
behavior,
hoping
change
to.
behavior.
Right.
And that's a little,
But that jeopardizes the productive, profitable
yes, it does.
studios.
Yeah.
Right.
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 So
right.
so it's sort of the forest for the trees.
Right. Right.
It is a risk for everyone.
It is. So it was, we presented for a while and they were asking questions and that we fortunately knew the answers
Yeah.
to because of what you said. We did
To
do
me,
our
that's
homework.
part of their job. Like, I don't
Yeah,
ever
right,
mind that.
right.
People that ask a lot of questions, I'm really curious. And I think the more questions you ask, sometimes people's back get up and they're like, huh,
Yeah.
what do you mean?
Right.
Especially me, I tell my, I can ask as many questions as I want.
Like Shark Tank.
Yeah.
You want to know
I mean,
if you're going to invest, right?
And look, the whole company is at stake, really, when you think about it, right? And talk
Right.
about a 36-year overnight success story. And I think when you're taxed with the overall viability and efficacy of a business, they should be that for you, right? I
you're-
think.
yep.
But it's most important that you got
No, I
to
agree
go.
with you. I get it. And
Yeah.
I agree.
And you will be loyal because of that.
Yes. And we have been.
Yes.
Right.
Right.
So any insights you would tell your younger self?
Oh my.
I left that wide open. So it could be personal, it could be professional, but it could be community.
Right.
And you went from a career in pharmaceutical to entrepreneurship.
Right.
In a awesome career opportunity. But there's some people are into fitness for from New Year's Day to maybe
For a
March.
season
Yeah.
or a reason.
And then
Yeah.
like,
First
okay.
one.
To get married or to...
Jumping into January. Then flying out of February.
Yeah, right.
I would tell my younger self, number one, to enjoy the journey a little bit.
Good.
More than I did. I was very difficult on myself, very hard on myself. I did not enjoy it like I should have.
I mean, were you always high achieving? Like, I've got to
Yes.
get to this
Yeah.
goal, that goal.
I was the mentality of if you weren't first, you were last.
Okay, we're kind of in a room full of that, so this is not good.
You're the
I
first
can-
loser in second.
Right.
Yeah.
So I would definitely encourage myself to just kind of look around and be grateful for what you have, or perhaps what you don't have at that time. But I would also not be so hard on myself.
Yeah.
Right. Kind of what we're talking
Give
about.
yourself more grace.
A little more grace, a little more, not a lot, because I got to kick myself to keep myself motivated. But, and then I feel as though I did do a good job of not burning bridges. Because
Good.
like you said,
Good.
you're in a central Pennsylvania
Yeah,
community.
everybody knows everybody.
Correct. And unless you're really going to torch the bridge, after
Yeah.
not let them cross. But no, I felt as though regardless, you can always be respectful of others, and even if you disagree in opinion or beliefs, you could still boil it down to
You can agree to
respect.
disagree.
Yeah. Really?
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's perfectly
Right,
fine.
right.
We don't. I don't want echo chambers. I
Yeah.
just,
Right,
you
right.
have to find people that have an honest intention, that have a good heart, with fresh eyes. But I think too, though, Patty, when you're pharmaceutical sales, it's like mini entrepreneurs.
You are.
At
Oh,
moments,
yeah.
because
You are,
you're
yeah.
in sales. And
Right.
look, we're only as good as
Right.
our last sale.
Right.
Well, and you're waiting for maybe 5 minutes of time for that physician or whoever the decision
It's a
maker is to
soundbite.
wedge
It's
in.
a money shot,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you're
it
on,
turned
right?
into that back, and I could see the progression of how the industry had changed, as well as how medicine changed.
Yes.
Over 20
Right,
some
right.
years, where physicians did not have the time to sit down with you and really go over from soup to nuts what a medication can do or not do
Right.
for a patient, where it turned into sound bites. So do I miss it? No, not at all. Not at all, because of how it changed.
Well, look what you're doing. You have a rare opportunity to change people's lives, help them live longer, just by them wanting to spend time in your studio.
Right. Thank you.
And if you're caustic or your personality, either you or Brian or your whole team,
Right.
if you don't make it, if it's more militaristic and a little
right,
less like we're
right.
working together on a common goal,
Right.
you guys are phenomenal
Thank
at
you.
that.
Thank
So
you. I can remember him coming home, and this was before I made that pivot from pharma into full time with the training studios and the fitness companies. And he just would go story after story of how an individual could, move better and felt better and sleep better, and their
so
numbers
cool.
were better. And he would just jabberjaw the whole time, which he does anyway. But and then he'd say, "Well, how was your day?" And when I would answer, "Fine," I knew in my heart this
Okay,
wasn't.
you have
He
to
was
make a
living his
change.
passion.
He was living,
and he cared.
Right. And I knew, okay.
Do you know,
I need-
when I ran into you and Brian, because I've never seen you not together.
You did say
Hey, that took me a long time to find that one. So
No, I think on so many levels, I'm incredibly enamored, respectful, like just wow. Because you see at charity events, you that's
yeah.
both your time and you're
Well, he
committed.
came here to check on her to make
Yeah,
sure that
you're-
we were
you're-
legit.
well,
Yeah,
actually, I was
you're-
hoping he brought me
kidding.
lunch.
Yeah. You're committed to that at the same time you're committed to each other. I couldn't say enough about that. I love that, right?
Thank you.
So I run into Patty and Brian at Cafe Fresco in Linglestown because there's studios there, right? And so long and the short, we'd like, I know you and you know you and blah, blah, blah. And what's, you're limping. Like, what's that? So I was right after I fractured my knee. And I said, I'm doing everything I can do to not have major knee surgery or whatever. And I said to Patty, it's the greatest thing that ever happened to me. Because I sat there and thought,
Ugh.
if you've worked this hard
Yeah.
and don't enjoy this, what are you doing? What's the point?
Right.
And I kept up so well with myself and my health, and I'm just I would say I'm a fanatic because I'm disciplined.
Right.
And I thought not many people would understand it when I said, this is the greatest blessing. It's an answered prayer. So I was praying, but did I think the Lord would go, oh, here you go, Annie, fracture your knee and have at it.
Right.
But you did. And I thought you either get that
You
or
get
you
it.
don't. And you either understand that you have a chance to sort of
Right.
overcome. So that's the first meaningful conversation I've ever had with Patty. And I was like, that's
Over your fractured knee.
Yeah.
right. That's it though, right? You have to be aligned with the passion Brian is, you are clearly. And that Ann, is what changes people's lives.
Well, plus you also, I think one of the positives, you realize that all the time that you've been in the C-suite leadership, that you had been pouring into your team, and guess what? They were able, the best leaders are able to sideline and heal, and the train keeps going. If the train stops, we haven't done a very good job of being a leader. Like your job is to pour yourself into.
Yeah, I want to be irrelevant. I want to be.
Well, you'll never be irrelevant, but
that's a good goal.
That's impossible. That's impossible. But what you learned was, while you could take a breather and be literally where your feet were, and say no to some things that probably you should have been saying no to, like this is where I'm going to be, that the team was able to rise to the occasion.
Well, and Patty and Brian do the same thing. You can't both be here and be at the studios, running the studios.
That takes a long time, though. It's not as easy to be done as we're talking about it. It's tough, because especially
especially for the entrepreneur.
Boom. Especially if you've, like we've talked about, it started from
no
nothing.
one will be as passionate as the one starting it.
Correct. And you do understand that, but you do want to trust in individuals, and they know your passion for it. And Brian and I, we say this every day. We just want to keep doing the right things for the right reasons, and you will be blessed.
Well, you can't have 3 studios, Patty, without people.
I know.
Right.
And if you say, well, it has to be my way, well, great. Then there's going to be one location, and nobody's going to really like you. And so you're going to be stalled there.
We love that in person, too.
Right.
So
that's where you shine.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
where you shine.
And, that's the name, personal training.
Right.
So, to keep elevating that, you want to keep finding the cream of the crop. And it is a tough industry. So where do you find these individuals?
Right.
And not every fitness center, gym, studio is the same. So, and it's not until you kind of been to one or two that you recognize that.
Yeah, where do you find people that care as much as you and Brian do?
Right.
That have risked everything for it, to it, in it, right? So that people know the difference.
Right. And I'll tell you exactly how we first got started was it broke my heart, because fitness came easily to me. I was a jock. I had older brothers. They never let me play with my Barbies on the couch. I was outside constantly playing with them. And I would go to the gym and I would see these individuals who were spending a time away from their family, spouses, whatever, thinking that they were exercising and doing their movements correctly to get into better health. And you wouldn't see any change with them. And you knew that either they were going to get hurt or they were wasting time away from their family. And that's when it clicked with me. I want to make a difference in these individuals.
Oh.
That's powerful.
Any fitness trends that you see for our region, like because you're literally in the gym with everybody, do you see more seniors joining now? Do you see more young people? What's your observation of wellness in Central PA?
We see a lot of individuals who are not investing in their health until they really have...
Until they get a stroke or something?
Right, until
like
they don't...
a major issue.
You got it, until they don't have it anymore. And so that's why I scream it from the mountaintop. Your health is your wealth.
Yeah.
Without it, you have
You're
nothing.
Right. You're right.
Invest in your health. Because you're either going to pay for it now or you're going to pay for it in hospital bills later if you're fortunate enough.
You do not want to be in the health system for any reason.
Right.
Right. It's all transactional.
And it's like I said, it's changed so much too. So you want to make that investment now. It doesn't need to be in personal training. It doesn't even need to be in a gym. We were talking about it earlier. Just move, get outside, find something that you want to do.
Now, do you do classes too, or is it all personal training sessions?
At our personal training studios, we are recently adding small personalized group sessions because...
So like the Grit and Gravitas duo here.
Oh, absolutely.
We got to go to boot camp, ADG.
Wait, we need outfits first.
I don't want a bigger booty. I don't want a bigger anything.
I need the appropriate workout.
I want core strength. I don't want to be bigger anywhere. Yeah.
But we're seeing seniors come in because they want to be around. They want to be with their grandchildren. They want to be balanced.
That's what I'm fighting to do. Meet my boy's kids.
Right.
And he's like, not just meet them, Mom. Interact and help us with them. I'm like, okay, well, you live around here and I'll do that, right? So it's like,
It's all about helping individuals become the healthiest
and quality
version.
of life.
Right.
Extending that.
Right.
Be invigorated by that.
The healthiest ands that can be.
See?
Sleep better. It's all one little bundle of humanity.
Right.
Too.
Right. Even with American
Mind,
Heart
body,
Association,
spirit.
they've added sleep into their
Well, they
healthy
should,
habits.
yeah.
I used to be great at that.
Well, because you feel guilty if you're sleeping
Yeah.
too much because you should be out doing
But
it.
your body is healing while you're
I think it's my mind. I just start, like, once I do that, I'm sunk, right? It's that.
right.
I've just added sleep back into it as a very important component
Good.
of my health.
Good.
Oh. I get 7, I'm doing a jig. Yeah.
I need 8. I need 8. I mean, I can function on 7.
Oh, yeah, no.
I can function on 6. But you won't see me smiling.
I've never not seen you smiling.
I
She's
know.
always gotten 8 hours when I've seen
Now,
her.
do you do diet and nutrition along
We
with
do
this?
coaching.
Okay.
We do nutritional coaching. And
So what would that look like?
the nutritional coaching would be, okay, hey, Ann, if you're coming in next Wednesday, I want for the next 48 hours, just write down everything that you've eaten. Just, don't be shy about it. It is what it is, right? Then once you would come in, we'd go over when you're eating, what you're eating.
So you
and look
review protein intake,
absolutely.
carb
Yeah,
intake.
and it doesn't have to be that intricate. It's not
Complicated.
Right,
Yeah.
right. People make it so much more complicated. We go with a 3-prong approach of diet, right?
Mm-hmm.
Choosing those healthier foods, of resistance training, especially women.
Well, that's
as-
good. Is that
as
the
we-
bands? What is
it? Can be
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
bands. It can be free weights. It can be machines. It can be body weight. That resistance training, because as women, we do lose more bone as well as muscle than men do as we age. And then some cardiovascular health. So, right.
I lost muscle.
You know what?
For sure. Yeah.
I'm thinking out loud, and since we're gonna say it on the podcast because that kind of means it has to happen.
She's going to speak it into reality.
I know. We need a Grit and Gravitas session at Precision Training.
Yes.
What's the maximum for that? Like
How many people can be in the
maximum?
studio?
Well, normally we will have.
Could we do 10?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. 10 in a group class?
Yeah.
Oh,
we can fit 10 people in a group class. And it would be a little bit of...
Could we go out on the diet then afterward?
Well, so all I'm going to tell you is we have to do an East Shore and a West Shore.
Yeah. That'd be great.
Okay.
Just to be able to localize.
Accommodate.
I think we should do that.
Or we could all meet at Capitol on a Wednesday. We do a Wellness Wednesday there.
We're
that's
insured by, UMI's insured by Capital.
Okay.
I'm
For
insured by
29, 30 years. That's how loyal. Yeah, we're loyal.
And
Wait, so I think I get a free class, don't I?
if you have Capital
Yeah.
Blue Cross insurance, you get 1, 2, 3 free personal training sessions.
Oh, so that I have no excuse. I'm without
No
excuse.
excuse. It's such an underutilized health benefit.
Yeah, because I guarantee most people don't know it.
Right.
That's
Right,
so
right,
cool.
yeah,
well, they
right.
will after the podcast goes.
And all I want to tell,
They're
I
gonna
want to
know
tell
it.
the
Capital
world,
doesn't get angry.
watch this on YouTube, and almost never watch YouTube. I just listen while I'm walking. But look at Patty, and then talk to me about holistic health. Right? 'Cause there it is.
I almost texted you because Sunday I'm sitting next to a gentleman in church who, we have like our assigned seats, not really, but it's out of comfort. So I'm sitting there. His name is Brian, and he's the executive director of Bethesda Mission. Oh, okay. And he turns to me, he said, I just want to tell you, I just watched, so that's the YouTube.
Okay.
Grit and Gravitas with Tracy Jones. So,
yes.
and she used to be on their board. So it was just so cool making these connections. He didn't comment on anything on social.
I
so-
wanted to pick up a building after she was here.
Tracy.
Well, could we all fit in the studio? I don't know.
Well, she's going to speak
like
at
a
our
lot.
all-employee meeting with, I think the book is Spark. I
Yeah,
already read that.
Okay.
Wait,
You're-
it's behind us.
The only difference in 5 years, Patty, you'll appreciate this, that Charlie Tremendous Jones said,
Yes,
is
yes.
the people you meet and the books you read.
Yep.
Oh,
And that will be true as long as
Love
I have a
it.
breath.
there it is.
That's what she's going to do. But we're out of time.
Already?
Oh, my word. Okay,
I
we
mean,
need a
we
We
duo
haven't
again.
even done any push-ups yet.
That's not for YouTube.
ADG, get us 10. Get us 10 right
I
there.
just said that's not for YouTube. I love you coming to the studio, Patty.
you're
Love
awesome,
you
Patty.
overall.
Thank
love what
you.
you've done in the
Thank you.
community. You are changing lives, and
That's right.
we're here for it. And anything we can do to support you. Where can we find out about Precision Training Concepts?
Sure. You can go right on our website at ptcfitness.com, and it'll have everything from classes that we offer to everything about our trainers, what type of services we offer, what we're doing in the community, et cetera, et cetera.
Good. So Instagram, Facebook,
Oh,
LinkedIn.
absolutely. Yeah, all of the above.
All the
Of course.
Or just leave
I was
your
a
house.
pe-
Patty will be there. Fine.
She's in the hot pink dress, so okay. No, thank you so much.
What a pleasure
You're
to be
doing the
with
Lord's
two.
work.
Thank
Thank you.
You
Have
two
a
are just
high gear
pleasure.
day, ladies. I feel like I need to go work out. Okay. Okay.
You guys
Thank
are
you.
awesome. Thank you for everything.
Thanks for listening. It's our desire that these stories will bring energy, ideas, and fresh thinking that you can use today. Subscribe to our podcast and follow us on Instagram, and have a high gear day.